Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports with Monga. And the Formula One Italian Grand Prix qualifying has just ended with the Ferrari boys spoiling the party or enjoying the best party that they could ever had. And Max Verstappen, he just could be sandwiched between the two. It has been an amazing weekend to be a Formula One fan. If you're a Ferrari fan, this was the place that you wanted to be at, the Temple of Speed, the Ferrari home ground, home surface, home track. There are two home teams here, AlphaTauri in Faenza and Maranello for the Scuderia Ferrari. And it was the dreams, the stuff that dreams are made of for Carlos Sainz. It was his 29th birthday this weekend. He's been celebrating his birthday from Thursday, but then Friday with the free practice 1, free practice 2, he was topping the charts. He was topping the for FP2 and FP3. He was topping the chart. That was amazing to watch. But then here comes qualifying, and he had what it took to beat Max Verstappen, and that's what we're excited and talking about right now. Let's go through it in the order of Q3, Q2, and Q1. One thing to also mention, this was the second race where tire allocations were limited. They had tried first in Hungary, where Zhou Yu was the anomaly, and he showed the field how to kind of boss on a tire allocation, on a hard tire, where he was flying in that Alfa Romeo. This was, so what it meant in the tire allocation was, like the limited tire allocation is the ATA rule was you had a pair of hards for the Q3, mediums, and then softs in Q2. So that's the progression. You can't change between them. So it was like how your tire behaves on a hard, then a medium, and then the soft, and that gives you the qualifying for the race. I think it's a good rule. It's an issue if you have FP1, FP2, and FP3 also following similar kind of ways. And that's one thing that everybody was complaining, possibly not complaining, but then wanted some tweaking about that rule. It's of course in the whole sense of making Formula One more sustainable, and the number of tire sets that are lost or like not used, and so on and so forth. That was the background, and let's head straight to Monza qualifying Q1. We had 5 drivers who went out: Zhou Yu, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, and Kevin Magnussen and Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll, let's spend a couple of minutes on Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll has not beaten or out-qualified Alonso for quite some time. 2023 has been a season of complete misses for him. And that car has been on podiums more than anybody would have thought, and Alonso has been that driver. So Lance Stroll has the car equivalent to Fernando Alonso, but he is plumb lost, starting at Monza, at the track which is the fastest. It only tells me that Lance Stroll does not really feel motivated in Formula One. It is better, and because Lawrence Stroll is his father, he's the owner of Aston Martin. We understand that there is a difficult conversation to be had right now, where you need to make a choice between what's more priority here. Is it the team? Is it your son? Is it like, how do you because if you had 2 top class drivers, Fernando Alonso being one and the other basically being anyone else than Lance Stroll, who was a top driver, and I'm sure Lawrence Stroll can get anybody he wants, you could have double the points that Aston Martin right now have. And that's the question. How much do you want that? I think Lance Stroll has lost love for the sport. He is struggling to find his motivation, and that will be very interesting to see how this goes forward. I think he should quit. It's better at doing something else. He should possibly do that. There have been suggestions. He's amazing at tennis. Maybe he should give it a try. Kevin Magnussen, again, one of those Haas drivers who has not found his feet till now after summer. He was struggling in Zandvoort. He was struggling here as well. As the Alpines were a peculiar bunch. Esteban Ocon going over Ascari to kind of damage his floor. I think the team got him early to kind of check, but then he had to run before they could not fix the car, but because it was like 3 or 4 minutes left for the end. And he ended his Grand Prix just helping Pierre Gasly and giving him a tow. But Gasly didn't have the straight line speed. This is kind of weird that Alpine not having the straight line speed. We've heard that they've been trying to kind of have a discussion with other Indian manufacturers, to have a common, a same power deficit, or like same engine modes or same power coefficients for all the engines. Yeah, they want equalization of engines. Apparently, that's what they're kind of trying to fight for. But then Alpine not able to kind of have a powerful engine for with the Renault Group, a company that actually makes engines for road cars. It's pretty interesting to see how bad they can mess it up. Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon 17 and 18th, but Gasly coming down from like the podium of Zandvoort to now starting P17 in the qualifying. Zhou Guanyu, Alfa Romeo, he was, no, that's the thing, right? Like Hungary, the what he did in Hungary with the hard tire, he could not repeat his streak here. So it was not that driver again. I think Zhou Guanyu has impressed us, but then he is a driver at risk. I think in these 5 groups, I feel Lance Stroll and Zhou Guanyu are the 2 drivers, I think, in my mind, which are in current contention that might lose their seat. Something might happen, something can change. There's a lot that can happen over a season. That's the bottom 5, and then you had Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, Logan Sargent, and Valtteri Bottas out in Q2. I would have spent some time with Liam Lawson. He has impressed me a lot, and that now this has given problems to Helmut Marko, Christian Horner, to know what will the future of AlphaTauri, which I think will be named some fashion brand, and then Red Bull. I think it could happen, like it's a Zara or Marks and Spencer Red Bull or something, because eventually we have said that there will be rebranding happening in the next year for AlphaTauri. But then who would you want? Would you want 2 rookies there? Would you want Yuki Tsunoda, who can, he is loved, but then he is not as loved as Daniel or Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo has did not do himself a favor after he broke it, but then it happened. It was an unfortunate event that he broke his hand at Zandvoort FP2, and Liam Lawson, who came in, is at par or is at speed already with that car, and that's a very important. He is a reserve driver, so he has seen the car. It's not that he has not seen the car, or not, he doesn't know what the attributes of the car is, but that to drive a car and to drive a car on track and to kind of have it in the similar are 2 very, very different things, in my opinion. And that's what, but then it's nice to see that Liam Lawson is able to kind of get to grips very quickly. But then the bottom, Logan Sargent, again, one of those things. So Logan Sargent is one of those other problems, like in problems that I feel Williams has. And then already kind of a lot of rumbling around him not being the James Vowles signing. Albon has kind of made this team around him, and he is like the best that anybody can wish for the Williams team to go forward, and his performance speaks for itself. So there is a lot of talk with Logan Sargent after his crashes in Zandvoort. He put the car in Q3, but then he crashed. Then again, he was in the points position, and then he crashed again after the conditions became difficult. And these are the mistakes, like as Formula One driver, like the margins are so like small, and then the gains and the losses are so big. And that's what the difference eventually is. So Logan Sargent, 15, Valtteri Bottas, 14, Nico Hülkenberg out qualifying his teammate Kevin Magnussen to P13. Liam Lawson in P12, Yuki Tsunoda in P11. That's the impressive thing. Like, how will AlphaTauri or Helmut Marko think about this new Liam Lawson problem that they have to deal with? Does Yuki lose his seat? Does he go somewhere else? Does Yuki go to Williams? What happens? There's a lot of probabilities all over, and paddock is full with the silly season after. But then the good thing was some drivers have been confirmed for the 2024 season already, and that kind of gave us the top 10. The problem was what will happen if the traffic jam appears. There was a condition that you cannot have. You cannot go below a certain time delta around the straight and the safety car line after the parabolic and under the straight. So that's kind of before around the parabolica before you go for your straight. And that was something that was a directive from the race, from the race director, who basically wanted to ensure that people don't impede each other or don't do anything stupid for the parking garage, or like stopping or trying to find the space between the car in front of you and yourself before you launch yourself for the flying run in Q3. That did not happen. There were still some rumblings, and we'll get into it with Q3 starting. Fernando Alonso finishes P10. I think he was happy. He felt that the car did lack some pace for him. He did not feel that he had a lot more to offer than what he got. Lando Norris felt that he had a very tricky qualifying in my mind. He said that at the post independent for the post race qualifying reaction, he said there were places that he was gaining tenths, but then there were places that he was losing tenths. So it was a balance between over pushing and under pushing. So he was not having that in sync, and he was struggling with that throughout the race, throughout the qualifying in the Q3 as well. But then he was good enough to put P9 behind Lewis Hamilton, who has been a little out of shape for this weekend, who came in after P2 and basically said, I have no grip. That's typical Lewis Hamilton-esque style, to kind of say everybody like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But he is a 7-time world champion, so he knows a thing about for how to get his car in the right window. I think he finished P8. Oscar Piastri doing an absolute amazing job. I think he there was some dents he said, but then he was like, everybody could say that, and he had the maximum out of he took out the maximum out of the car, finishing in front of Lewis Hamilton. Alex Albon, the Williams outclass man. He was flying. He was P4 at one point before George Russell and Sergio Perez kind of pipped him. But then Alex Albon has been in the top 10 for the whole weekend, and he has the confidence in that car. The straight line speed on the Williams is amazing, and it'll be interesting but then the race pace and the strategies and everything will kind of come in play. That will be the thing that will be interesting to watch. Sergio Perez and the second Red Bull, finishing P5, not that far from Carlos Sainz or Max Verstappen. But then if Max Verstappen can put the car on P2, why can't you, Mr. Checo Perez? But I think it's a good showing. He did not crash. It was a clean weekend. Not a clean weekend. It was clean qualifying for him. He did not scrub or mess up his lap to kind of have a Q1 exit. He made it to Q3, P5. He should be happy. George Russell, I think he has been a qualifying specialist for Mercedes for quite some time. He did mention this as well in Zandvoort when he was on, I think we finished Q3. He did say, when he finished P3 in the qualifying for Zandvoort, he did say that was one of the strengths that he's had for in that with Hamilton, against Hamilton, that he is better at qualifying, and he was not able to kind of show this or prove this in the first part of the season before summer. And he said there were some things that he was dealing with personally and so on and so forth. But now he's back and kicking, and he showed it. Like how if Mercedes was a difficult car, he was the one who could get the maximum out of it, and he finished P4. And then let's get to the podium. The top three. It was amazing that the last run, where Charles Leclerc goes for the first, and then becomes he is P1. Then Max pips him by 3 tenths, and Carlos Sainz then pips Max Verstappen for a 100th, sorry. And that's what eventually happened. Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, they were all buzzing. What a qualifying, what a battle. That was a temple of speed. You wanted that. We wanted to feel the buzz coming out of it, with Max Verstappen sandwiched between two Ferraris. But Ferrari on pole at Monza is a huge news. This will be really positive for the whole Red Army, the Tifosis, the Formula One Ferrari fans, the Maranello, and all around Italy to know that a Ferrari driver was on pole, not a Red Bull driver of Max Verstappen. We have to understand the qualifying was like amazing. Carlos Sainz was buzzing. His weekend just gets better after his birthday celebrations. I think he's just going to have fun. He did say that he has gone in, like he has found something inside him that he is able to attack a Ascari or a Parabolica better. He can, like, if you see, he said that if you see my races from the past, from McLaren days, from Ferrari days, you can see that I am attacking it in a different fashion. Also to note is Charles Leclerc did struggle through the weekend until he took the same setup as Carlos, and then he was able to kind of, put himself, feel more one with the car, feel more comfortable, and then do what he did. Max Verstappen basically said it's good fun to kind of have two Ferraris up there, but he knows that the race pace for Red Bull is nobody can beat it, and nobody has been able to beat it till now. And Ferrari knows that their race pace is not that amazing. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. One interesting moment, though, was when the race controls at Ferrari, both Ferrari drivers were being investigated for not following the race directive. And the minute they crossed, both of them crossed the line, and it was like there was no investigation or nothing needed, and that was amazing, like heart and mouth mode for all Ferrari fans when they were like, oh shit, there's an investigation. Of course, it's Ferrari, the only two drivers who were in the whole grid being called out for this, but then no investigation needed eventually. But then that was a nice relief. For the race, in my mind, it has to be Red Bull, the turn one, who goes first, but then Max Verstappen does not take any risk. He is bulletproof. He knows his car is firing on all cylinders. It is extremely reliable. It is extremely fast. And, they have the race car to win the 10th record for Max Verstappen. 10th record consecutive win, Formula One win, race win. But today is a day for Ferrari. I love the fact that we have the Ferraris on the top of the, battling with Max Verstappen tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? How did you find the qualifying? Are you a Ferrari fan? Are you a Red Bull fan? Or whichever team you support, you must have loved the way this Grand Prix qualifying went. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do like this video, do share, and do subscribe to the channel, guys. I've realized that people don't hit that subscribe button. You should. I've realized I get new 1,000 viewers every video or every shorts video that I do, but then there are only 30 who are subscribed. I will really appreciate if you spend a moment to hit that subscribe button. But I hope you enjoyed the qualifying, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you will be watching the race. I will be doing a post-race reaction video soon, so wait for that, and I'll catch you in that one.